Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Julia. Just recently I got a very 90s haircut and I'm wearing a crop top, and it made me very nostalgic about my school days. Have you ever thought that the things that you need to do in your adult life has very little to do with the things you learned in school? In this video I'll be talking about the things that they don't teach you in school but they totally should. And if you're interested, please keep on watching. I came up with a pretty big list and I decided to divide it into two parts. So this video is part one and it only covers the things that I called actual school stuff. By that I mean things that are already taught but could be modified a little bit. For the context, I'm 33 years old and I went to school and university in Russia, which means that my experience might be very different from yours. If you grew up in another part of the world, I'll be very curious to know how your experience was different from mine when it comes to learning things in school. And without further ado, let's get to it. First of all, adulting is hard. Formally, it starts at 18 or 21, depending on where you live, but in real life, there is no marker of adulthood. There is no event or an age that after which you're an adult and you magically know what to do. We're all figuring it out as we go, on top of all of our backgrounds, insecurities, social stereotypes that we still need to deal with. Wouldn't that be nice if some of the things that we need in adult life would be taught in school? I think so too. And by school, I don't necessarily mean the primary school or the secondary school. It could be anything, college, university, you name it. Also, I don't think that schools are completely useless. This is not what I'm saying. I think it's very important to go to school and get general education, to get a professional education, because this is still things that you need in real life in one form or another. However, there is a bunch of skills that might be nice to get introduced in schools as well. So here is my take on things that they should teach in school to make adulting a little bit easier. Let me start with things that I call actual school stuff, so something that directly relates to what we do in schools. First one is think critically. And by that I mean question others and form your own opinion. I think it's something that I lacked in school, but I'm not pointing any fingers. It could be just me. I just never had an opinion and I wasn't really questioning anything. That's something I had to learn in my mid-20s. I think it's important to decide for yourself, what do you think on certain subject? And why do you think so? What are you basing your opinion on? What are the credible sources of information and how to distinguish them from non-credible ones? Number two, how different subjects in school are connected to one another. In fact, there is a lot of things that they teach you in school that are connected in real life. For example, physical education and biology. I cannot make a good example. For example, combining physical education classes and biology and explain how the muscles work, how to become fit, and how to eat properly. Number three, history lessons. I found history pretty boring when I was in school. And there is a number of things that I was missing. For example, what was going on in different countries at the same time. You learn about some ancient world, like ancient Greece, but then you had no idea what was going on in Africa at the same time, what was going on in China. That knowledge creates a more holistic view on what's going on in the world. A similar idea is how different countries were involved in the same event. For me, the brightest example of that is the Second World War. The way it's taught in Russia is, of course, very much focused on the Russian part, the Russian contribution to the victory. However, it really doesn't emphasize any other country who took part in that war. Teaching that could also help people have a better understanding of what was going on in that event and how different countries contributed to one and the same event. And the third thing is how historical events are affecting our present. What led to the reality that we're living in right now? Why do we have societies in different countries the way they are right now? We can talk about different economical, political, and social events that influence that. Showing this connection would also help with formulating an opinion and training some critical thinking. This is so much more useful than just remembering the dates. Number four. Physical education. That was something that I genuinely hated in school because I couldn't do anything. And guess what? Only when I was 24, I learned that there's an actual technique to running. I had to run in school for a grade, and I could never do that because I think all the teachers that I had just kind of assumed that people know what to do. I do think it's important to properly explain the technique. Everything has a technique. You explain Also, the variations for people who are more advanced and less advanced. For example, if you know that for a grade you need to do 10 push-ups, but you can't do 0, what do? I think it's important for a teacher to also show you the prep exercises, something that you can do to build up your muscles, to prepare your body to be able to do 1 and then 2. So that gradually by the end of the term or semester, you would be able to do your 10 and get your good grade. Offering the exercises that fit the fitness level of different people would make them like the lessons more. And that will help them progress to do the more difficult exercises and then eventually becoming a rather fit person who likes sports and can integrate sports in their adult life. Number 5, showing real life application of seemingly theoretical stuff. For example, using math to calculate your mortgage payment or taxes. Another example is talking to actual foreigner when you learn a foreign language. If you have ever learned a language, you know how difficult it is to practice your speaking. Another example here is knowing how to tell good literature from bad literature. I do think just general literature can help you to form your opinion, to have critical thinking, to learn how to write in a good way, and might also benefit from introducing some real bad novels so that you could also use the examples of bad literature to tell it apart from the good one. Number 6, working on projects together in a group. I think it's very important because this is what I do on a daily basis at my work. I work with other people, and I do believe that the best results are achieved in collaboration. It also helps with developing communication skills. You learn how to distribute work. You learn how to take responsibility for your part of the work. You learn to explain what you need from other people. It's a very useful thing. If that could also be cross-subject in school, for instance, combining some geography and history classes in one project, that would be even better. Number 7, having art, music, theater, and other creative subjects just for fun with no grades. Academic grades can barely assess your creativity or teamwork or leadership skills. So I do think certain subjects should really not be graded, but they should be taught. I did have music classes till the very end of my school, which was great. I also had art classes, and I even had a bit of a theater, which was terrifying for me because I was an extremely shy kid. Creativity is not about painting a picture. It's about solving problems, essentially. It's about expressing yourself. It's about knowing who you are. I also think it would be so nice that in school they could also teach you how to tell good art from the bad art, how to tell good music from the bad music. For instance, theater skills could help you to feel more confident on stage, or it could help you feel more natural on camera. And number 8, and the last one in this section, is experiment and make mistakes. Experiments aside, school doesn't really encourage you to make mistakes. In fact, it's the opposite. You get judged when you make them. People get upset when they get A- instead of A. The thing is, grades don't matter at all in your adult life. Nobody cares. However, it would be nice if the mistakes didn't seem like such an awful thing, because we all make them in life. Of course, mistakes make you feel like shit, but I think it's important to know what you can do to correct them. Mistakes do not define you. They don't make you a worse person. It happens to everybody. What I'm suggesting is at least not to emphasize the mistakes so much. That was it for part 1 of what they don't teach you in school, but totally should. Did it resonate with you? Well, is there anything from that list that you have learned in school? Please let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You know what to do. Please hit the like and subscribe button so that more people can see this video. And I see you next week for the part 2. Cheers!